تلاقولو حيرو ودلاتيو ما صرتو عم قابي شوتوسي توكوسي وأوعيتا ووثي مقوايو أسيريا تيفي مقوايو وقولكو يميديا.
Hello, I want to welcome you to today's The Beginning Ashur program. My name is Joseph Pirayou, and I welcome you to today's uh, kind of special program. As you can see, the way I dressed, normally I have this tie and shirt. Uh, as always, this is a live program, and we have, if you have any comments, questions, you can send it to us while the program is live. You can answer that, and if I can, I will do it. Other than that, we do these question and answer programs, uh, and we go over a lot of information. And actually, today, well, the name of the today's episode is effective communication. And when I was preparing that, I remember there was a comment a while back on one of the programs. I'm not sure it was YouTube or on Facebook that somebody mentioned that why aren't you speaking Ashuri? Why English, not Assyrian? Well, effective communication. One part of this effective communication is that when I started this program on Assyria TV, originally was in the Eastern dialect that I speak, and Svadaya, I believe that's what it's called. However, the communication that was when I was speaking that dialect was just for the people who understand that dialect. The Western dialect speaking people, they maybe understood some words, but not the subject. So the communication didn't work with them. Also, since I was born in Iran, my accent, the way I speak, our own Eastern dialects, some people from maybe Iraq or Syria, other countries, they don't uh, understand fully because maybe I use some Farsi words or not, you know. So basically, the communication wasn't there, and we were at a smaller group that we could reach with speaking the Eastern dialect. That's why, after a few programs, we decided to go with English, which right now is the language that most everybody in the world, definitely in business and all these other things, when you go to all these different countries that they speak different languages, and when they make announcements, there is in their language and in English. So English is understood more. Plus, majority of our younger people, uh, they have more understanding of English, the ones that live in non-English speaking countries. So with the social media and everything, there's more, understanding of that language. So we switched. That's why, unfortunately, if we could speak in a language that all of us would understand in our own beautiful language, the Ashuri language, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So, and it had something to do with the subject today regarding the effective communication. As always, I when I talk about the subject, I know the word communication. Some of you have an understanding what it means, but what I like to do is I go in the dictionary, see what the actual word is defined, and from there we see if we are on the same page or we talk about the subject on the same level. Then there would be more clear, what is it that I'm trying to share with you, and that's the word. Communication is defined as successful conveying or sharing of ideas and feelings. It's a successful way of conveying and sharing ideas and feelings. Now, then I saw this other word, convey. So, what is a convey? It says express a thought, feeling, or idea so that it is understood by others. And then I found this. It says, here are some tips for conveying a clear and conscious message. Focus on simplicity, clarity, and structure. I love simplicity because the subject, when it becomes simple, I understand it better. And of course, it's more clear, and having a structure is great. Being direct, that's no problem. Just stick to the subject and believe you'll be heard. We have this program here on Syria TV. People are watching. The other one is that it wasn't mentioned, and I was thinking about conveying a message, is that show evidence, show examples. Like this program is specifically this, there's a specific subject that is communicated, or try to communicate this. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not, doesn't matter, but it's about communicating the message of this program is what, it's very simple identity. And as you can see, I'm communicating. I'm wearing this shirt. It says Ashuraya, 100%, with the Ashur symbol here. Then we have this one, as you can see. Of course, as always, I have this cup. And before I go any further, I just want to share with you where I got these. Some of you, I've told you before, I couldn't get this is Wow Alab. I don't know if you can see that. This way? Good? Yeah, doesn't matter. It's WowAllap, WAWALLAP.com. He has all these, you know, different ways of communicating. And it says that WowAllap works to preserve the Assyrian heritage through artifacts that bring a piece of the homeland into your home. With Assyria in mind, each piece is modeled and created with the highest quality and greatest attention to detail. Now, he quotes Aristotle here, says, the aim of art is not to represent the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Even though we see the shirt, the communication is like identity, but it's like, what is inside? Why is it that, which is the subject today, trying to communicate these ideas, or these, be effective in conveying it. So I want to start with one of the ways that we communicate, not necessarily effective or non-effective. Let's show that comment that was, I think, from last week on YouTube. The comments are communication. Somebody is telling us what is going on in his or her head. The first one, the communication that was done through YouTube comment section, was Israel is Assyrians' first enemy. So that's what this person, sorry about these, as I said, didn't ask about permission to put the name. I mean, you still can see it if you go to YouTube comments, see who the person is, but that's not the point here. Point is effective communication. So this person is communicating on YouTube with people that are watching the program on YouTube, that Israel is Assyrian's first enemy. Now, I'm sure he has, or she has, heard or learned from somewhere that is the truth. And since that person believes that is the truth, has communicated via comment on the YouTube page that Israel is Assyrian's first enemy. And, I like to know more. Okay, Israel is Assyrian's first enemy. Why was the comment made? So why? Israel is no good. We have enemy, first enemy, last enemy. See, effective communication. So that's what it was. I'm just sharing with you about communication and the effectiveness, and where this thought comes to either mouth or into fingers that you type and you send a comment. Communication, right? That was the only thing. I didn't know what to make of it. And normally I don't answer on the comments on YouTube or on Facebook on that page, there's something important that I think that I should share. I'll bring it and do it during the live program. The other one was, sorry, Assyrian nation, but Israel bold. Assyrian is originally from Israel nation. I didn't get the first part that says Assyrian nation, but Israel bold. I don't know what that means. Yeah, go back to the other part with the, and somebody answered to that comment that Assyrian is originally from Israel nation. Says you don't know what the F you're talking about. You're lost. Please don't teach that bullshit to your kids if you have any. Communication. This is not that this is right or wrong way you're answering, but we are communicating. That first comment is that Assyria is originally from Israel nation. From my information that I have, I don't know where that comes from. So what was the point of your communicating? The first comment was Israel is enemy. This one, we are all one people. So we originally came from Israel nation. So Israel nation was named after Israel, who was Jacob, and that's something like 1600, 1700 years before Jesus Christ, right? And we have proof that Ashur nation was much older than that. But that's beside the point. We don't want to argue about this, but we're talking about communication through programs, to words, to writings, to comments. And of course, our other friend that didn't agree says, you don't know what if you're talking about. And it says, you're lost. Please don't teach that bullshit to your kids if you have any. So he's communicating that what you communicate, my friend, is not correct. So this is communication, part of it. Now, as I mentioned, the subject that we have in this program is communicating identity, communicating the value of identity. And what is identity that we have talked about before, defining what it is? It just simply, well, the program is not just about identity, but preserving and protecting, saving it, keeping it. And what is there in the identity? We have our name, we have our symbol, we have a flag, our language, customs, traditions. And basically, this is the part that is communicated in this program, shared, hopefully would be successful conveying or sharing, but how would we know if it's successful, right? Before I go towards that part, that what would be effective or successful communication is, as we saw in these comments, somebody learned something from somewhere that they make in these comments. Israel is enemy, or Ashur people are originally from Israel. Information came from somewhere, from some kind of some place that one person, when that person believes in that information place, it could be somebody, some source, resource, whatever you want to call it, but there is some authority or something out there that the person believes in that, and that person gives it authority, says, oh, I heard this from this source, now I'm communicating to you that Assyria is originally from Israel nation, or from this authority I learned that Israel is number one enemy of Ashur nation, right? So there is some kind of a place, because I wasn't born with all the knowledge that I have right now. I had to read books and trust the source, the authority, or the information that they were sharing. It's true. Then I come here and would share it with you in a way that I'm so confident that what I'm sharing with you is true, that I'm communicating why we don't have a nation, why this, that, why we have all these problems, or we had the program about being thankful. It comes from somewhere. Now, there are two parts that have affected our nation in a way that we are in the position we are right now. One is a political authority, which right now, I don't think we have such a great political place that we can trust. So I use the example, like the latest that the political change that has happened is with this situation in Syria. So we have that photo with this poor guy, Bashar. I don't know about being poor, but he was powerful. He was running a nation. He was there with his father over 50 years. Everybody's like this photo that we have, everybody's like happy. He's in the car with the bodyguards and everything. And he was a political authority. He was the president for life. I don't know how the election was in Syria, but this guy is no more. He was the political authority of Syria, just like that. I mean, in the United States, they don't tell us anything about what is happening in the world. They just, whatever information that majority of the media they want us to know, they feed it to us. In order for me to find out what is going on, I have to go other outlets. And since you're busy with your life and these other things, next thing you hear, Bashar Assad is gone, is in Russia, his country is taken over. Like, what? What happened to that authority? There was a time that this guy had this authority, loved or whatever, but he was the president, actually king, to be honest with you. No more. But we have the effect of political authority. In this case, now another group is going to come over. I don't know what's going to happen to our people over there. That's another headache that we will see in the future. Hopefully, nothing bad. But the other part that I was mentioning, that authorities that have affected our nation, is religious authority, which has really, really, really affected. Now, one of the greatest or biggest influencers as far as the religious in the world is concerned is the Pope. He's an authority. He's Pope, Father of Fathers. He is representative of, they call him Vicar of Christ. He's sitting on the St. Peter chair. St. Peter being the first Pope according to the Roman Catholic belief. And took this photo here that all these people that are gathered, they rely on his authority as a religious person representing Jesus Christ, right? So this religious authority, as you can see, and we have so many of them, but in a smaller degrees, we have these Muslims that have religious authority. We have the Jews, religious authority, Buddhists, all these other different, and there are even atheists that they have non-religious authority over their people. But with this religious, like Pope, in the power that he is, what is it that is communicating? That all these people, I don't know, 2 billion, 1.8 billion, I don't know how many billion of people are followers of this specific denomination of Christianity. Influence of authority, of communicating what they believe is true, and people believing in them. So why isn't everybody Roman Catholic? If the authority that is there and conveying or sharing, successful conveying or sharing of ideas and feelings. I mean, you say, well, there are like 2 billion people believe out of 7, 8 billion that are in the world. That's not too bad percentage-wise, but what I'm saying is that if something is fact, something is true, right? So why other people are not believing? Are they intelligently challenged, or as we used to say, stupid? Or maybe they're smart. Maybe they have other authority that they're telling them what to believe or what not to believe. See, at the end of the day, we want to see, okay, what is it that motivates one person to do what that person is doing, right? One part is that we need to work to have money to eat. That's the motivation, right? To do what we're doing, as far as for families, this and that. But the part that we are trying to clarify as effective communication in a way that our people can come together. They have value for Ashur, Ashuraya, Ashureta, language, symbol, unity. See, with the religious authority, that we can see that this Roman Catholic Pope is in control of. History, see, there is history that I didn't make up. Maybe whoever wrote it was wrong, but as far as we can say, intelligent aside, common sense, right? So we have a history. Now compare that to the reality that is today. For example, back when our ancestors became Christian, okay, we were one people. There are, what was that book I had here? Dr. Vigram, The History of the Assyrian Church, right? There's a book here, Introduction, right? And tells us when it started, where it started, who did what. Is this an authority you can trust? I wasn't there. This guy got the information, and what was the purpose of him conveying and sharing this book to tell us what? The history of these people, regardless of is good, bad, ugly, but this is the history of these people. That was conveyed to us, that was shared with us, that way back originally, our people, we were one and we became Christian. And when we became Christian, we were in two empires. It was a Roman Empire and it was a Persian Empire at the time, that we were under them. And we had people in both of those. If you look at the map where the Persian Empire was, and they were borders, and they always fight against each other, one take over here, here. You know, Antioch in Syria, it was in Roman. Babylon and these other places towards the east and Iran and Iraq of today, they were under Persia. And eventually, when the seat was built for a patriarch of the Assyrian church, it was established in the capital of the Persian Empire. We didn't have, but we have Mar Ephraim 200-300 years later. I don't want to go in that direction, but we were one. The history tells us one. What is the reality? Reality is we have Chaldean, we have Syriac, we have Assyrian, we have Aramean, we have Babylonian, we have Maronites, Jacobites, Nestorian, Ashuri, and these all were created by communication by certain individuals like Marmaron, Mar Yaqub, Mar Nestorus. These people communicated that my way is the right way, and they were able to influence certain people to go join them because they split. Okay, when they split, that means what? Some people believe this guy, some people believe this guy. Okay, what do you believe? They believed in something that they conveyed. Successful conveying or sharing of ideas and feelings. My idea is Nestorus, this. My idea is Maronite is this. Some people say, oh, I like this guy. So, oh, next thing you know, we are here. And it's been repeated, this conveying of sharing, feeling, information for centuries. That Jacobite Nestorian part happened 16, 1700 years ago. And Marsulaga was like, relatively, it was like only 400, 500 years ago. The people that it was effective communication, but effective in a way that it affected our people in a negative way, right? So we had a couple of family gatherings recently, Thanksgiving and some, pre-Christmas cousins and, in-laws and this and that. And, I asked people, what do you think about Ashur? What do you think about our history, our future, this and that? 99.9% says, Joseph, no, they didn't say stupid. Says, Joseph, you're intellectually challenged. What are you talking about? Forget about it. There is no future. Look at that. Iraq, Syria, this, that. Don't waste your time. First, it's my time if I want to waste. But I saw through the communication that not that they don't love who we are, they just given up. They say, what's the point? It doesn't look good. Look at us, no political power, no this, no that, no this, no that. So let me share with you something here. Can we see that photo of that orchestra? So that was the only I was trying to communicate with you in a successful way about this idea. So I don't remember what year this is. Does it say a date here? Do you see any dates? I don't see any dates. But this is the 6th annual Mesopotamian night, the new Mesopotamia. I wish they put Ashur, but that's the first story. As you can see in the Mesopotamian night, there are two groups, sorry. One group is the orchestra, and the other group is the choir, singers, right? Now, I don't know how familiar you are with the orchestra, but in an orchestra, I wrote them down because there were so many. I thought I knew. Orchestra involve these instruments: violin, viola. There's a difference. Violin is smaller, viola is a little bit bigger, and it has a more tenor or different kind of a sound. It's like four of them: violin, viola, cello, bass. Is it possible we can enlarge the part? We can see this 2013? Is that when it was? Okay, that's 11 years ago. So 11 years ago, this is event in San Jose. If we can extend, towards the orchestra to see these instruments, I don't know how the quality of the picture is. I didn't do a good job to send it. But we have, as I said, there are four instruments that they're all pretty much the same. It's a violin, it gets bigger, and there's a cello that they sit and they put it between their legs. And there is a bass, the guy stands up and plays it. Then there is a piccolo, air instruments, wind instruments, they call them. Piccolo, flute, oboe, horn, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, tuba. Then we go into other instruments like harp, drums, percussion, piano. Some bands, they have guitar maybe. Orchestras. Those are instruments in the orchestra. Then you have the choir, and the choir basically have four voices: soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. I used to sing bass in the choir, Robbie Williams, Daniel. It's a long time ago. But four voices in the choir, all these instruments in the orchestra, and they all play together like one. The band plays, the singers sing, four voices. What does that mean? Voices, that there are different notes for each voice. They sing the same song, the same words, but in a different melody, I guess, if that's the right way of putting it. So what does this has to do with our situation? Effective communication. For this to happen, for this orchestra to come together, each individual has to learn their own craft. The violin player has to have this love or motivation or fire or whatever you want to call it. I want to learn how to play violin. I don't know if I'm going to make it into an orchestra or a band or whatever, symphony, but the individual, whatever the age, the younger you start, the better it is. I don't know. I didn't have the discipline to sit down and learn. I love guitar and piano, but this discipline, it's not easy. So each of these guys learned their cello, viola, clarinet, trumpet, this, and that. Then the soprano, the voices, they have to practice. The breathing, all these things, each individual. Like when you're learning the instruments, imagine somebody, nowadays the kids are so, harsh on people. Somebody's learning to play the tuba, it's a big, and people make fun of them, like you have to carry it with you. You have to have so much love and compassion to what you're doing that you don't care who's saying what. I, as the host of this show, I've been made fun of so many times. I've been laughed at, like, Joseph, what are you doing? Why? What's going on? I don't care what you're thinking about, if I'm wasting my time. Look at this orchestra. I believe we are getting with true effective communication. We will get to that part. It's not easy. It's simple, but each individual learning about what it is that they have as far as their ability or whatever. But in this case, we don't need to learn violin. I mean, God, it's so hard. I took it. It's like there is no way. You must be a magician to play that instrument and these other ones. But in our case, it's very simple. And maybe it's not easy in the beginning. It's just communicating, and while communicating, doing things. See, everything happened with repetition. For 16, 1700 years, they've been telling us you're Jacobite, you're this, you're that, Syriac, Aramaic. Fear repetition. Every day we see this symbol. Every day we see this. Every day we share, I'm Ashur, I'm Ashuri. However, but the thing is that sharing it together. I have communicated, as I said, the Ashur Banipal project still in process. We're working to get more people involved to do at least get that story together, that every one of us comes to a point that when they ask us, who are you? Pretty much we give the same story that our history is. But we're working. It's not gonna happen overnight. As I have started with some of our families, and I'm eliminating, okay, this guy doesn't want to, but we're bringing more and more. There are so many people out there. I'm the only one you can see maybe on the program, on the platform, but there are many people smarter, better communicator that are working hard. We are going to make that orchestra. Can you have the photo of that orchestra, please, one more time? We will get there. It's not easy. It's hard. For generations, they've been telling us different names. For generations, they've been telling us, you're hopeless. You will not have your land or anything. We will keep our identity. Looking at the photo, at the orchestra, gives me hope that, we can do that because somebody did this. This was a great project. I don't know what is going on right now. Imagine bringing all these people together, and on top of it, hundreds of people attending, sold out to watch this. This was about our culture, about our traditions, about our music, about our language. We're still here. Ahiya Ashur Chaya. Chaya Ashur. We'll see you next program, and I will share more information about what is happening with Ashur Banipal project. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Bye.
شيخاني